Can everybody see me? Is this working finally? Hey, live chat, give me a heads up if you can see and hear me. Well, I see a hello Vince, so I guess you can see me. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. Every episode something happens that delays the live stream. So thank you everybody for your patience and hanging around for about 5-6 minutes while we were trying to figure out what was going wrong with OBS. Stuff always happens. I think we just kind of roll with it at this point. So yeah, welcome to another episode of Q&A live stream. So this is episode number 7. For everyone who's new, this is pretty much how we run these. Is I will take questions from members, from our channel members, and then I will do super chats. And then we finish off from emailed in questions from subscribers in general. So the point of the live stream is basically just to give everybody a chance to ask questions about Dark Deception or Monsters and Mortals or Dark Deception Mobile or any game we're working on, basically. It doesn't have to be Dark Deception, but of course, most people like Dark Deception, so that's what most of the questions tend to revolve around. So without further ado, these things take a little while, so we're just going to kick this off since we're already late. We're going to go straight into member questions. So question number 1 from MMG. How much of the ripped Chapter 4 content has changed? So I guess he's talking about stuff that was in the build that some people, they like to rip the files out. They were able to get some audio files that kind of related to what Chapter 4 used to be. So, I think it's changed a lot. I don't know. You'll have to see for yourself, but I think it's not going to quite match up to what they're expecting. So, yeah, I would keep an open mind about Chapter 4. You may not know as much as you think you know based on that previous content. Question number 2 from Thimscope. It's a personal question. Are you from New York? No. I think 90% of Italians in the U.S. are from New York, but I'm actually from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So, yeah, most of my family is from there. It is kind of East Coast also, but East Coast New York, or United States for anyone who's not American in our audience, which is quite a few of you. Yeah, it's a small city compared to New York. Question number 3, Davy Jones. Did you find someone to make DD Mobile yet? Of course, I knew that was going to come up. So yeah, DD Mobile, we've already kind of narrowed down to a team that we're going to work with, but we are kind of waiting to see how this situation with Epic and Apple and Google shakes out before we start paying somebody to finish DD Mobile, because DD Mobile is about 70-80% done, and we're just looking for a team to wrap it up. But that does relate to us since our game is built in Unreal. We're just going to see how that kind of shakes out. So the other games are taking priority right now. Dark Deception Chapter 4 and 5, as well as Monsters and Mortals, and now we have our partnership with Keplerians for Evil Nun. So those are some things that we're working on before we wrap up Dark Deception Mobile. Question number 4 from Fifi Komitre. I'm sure if I pronounced that right. Will other monsters greet you in a friendly manner like Agatha does? I think there's going to be other enemies that try to deceive you with a friendly welcome. So you'll see which ones those are in Chapter 4 and 5. But yeah, I don't think Agatha's the only one to roll out a false red carpet for you or a false welcome mat. We'll see what you think when you play it. Question number 5 is from Chunk. Which Chapter 4 monster did you enjoy designing the most? Chapter 4's monsters, it's easy to say the Joy Joy gang, but actually I enjoyed designing Reaper Nurse a lot just because the first design didn't really work out that well, so I went back, and it was kind of fun going back and starting from scratch. and doing it again. So I kind of enjoyed doing the Reaper Nurse's uniform and then still taking the previous design that I didn't like that much anymore and still making it fit into the gameplay and the level. So I think the hospital was a lot of fun to design. So where are we at? Question number 6 from Angelo Plays. Will Dread Ducky plushies ever get restocked for those who can't buy it in their country due to coronavirus pandemic? So yeah, I did see there's a list with Makeship. There are some countries that they can't ship to because of the pandemic. And if you see these, these two guys behind me, these are the prototypes. So yeah, the Dread Ducky is in its final. I think it's pretty close to the last 24 hours now. So we're in full Dread Ducky support mode. But yeah, this will be the last 24 hours to get one of these. After that, we're not going to sell them anymore. That's just Makeship's thing. That's what makes Makeship plushies really cool, is that you can only get them once, and then they're never made again, literally. So the sad answer to that is no. Anyone that misses out for this, it's just gone. But then we will have other plushies that come later for other characters, thanks to the success of Dread Ducky. So thank you to everybody who's supported the campaign and picked one up. If we have any other plushies in the future, it's because of these people. So a big thanks to all of them and anyone that buys before the campaign's over. I think the next plushie that we're looking to do is going to be Lucky. And we're actually discussing something with Makeship for 2021 that's going to be really cool, because we realize we have a lot of characters. And it's really tough to... I know a lot of people want to have all plushies, and it's really tough to buy like every single one. So we think we found a solution to that that will be kind of in everyone's best interest. We'll see what I can tell you more about in the coming months. But from what I heard from the Makeship team the other day, it sounds pretty cool. I hope they can pull it off. We'll see. It's very ambitious, put it that way. So question number 7 from Kamaniac. Will we hear more about the girl Bierce mentioned in Chapter 1 in either Chapter 4 or 5? The girl Bierce mentioned. Oh, in the maze. Okay. The one that was very clever, but not a very fast runner. No, she doesn't play a larger role in Dark Deception, so I'm afraid that reference is all she gets. Maybe in the future, we might hear a little bit more about who that was, but for Dark Deception 1, that's all she wrote. Question number 8 from Nicoseal. Will Monsters and Mortals be buffed? For example, Lucky can probably handle some situations all by himself, but Clown Gremlins are stronger in numbers, but weak being alone. So, yeah, I think we're going to rebalance all the characters to make it, work a lot better as a multiplayer game. So obviously a character that was a clone character in Dark Deception, like Clown Gremlin, has to be able to be playable by himself. He does still have a cloning ability, but normally it'll be just him. So yeah, we're rebalancing all the characters, is, long story short. Question number 9 from Dogtor. How much does the average level cost to develop? Assets, salary, etc. And which one cost the most, or which level cost the most to develop? That's actually an interesting question, because it's more of a development question rather than just a straight up question about the game. So, yeah, Dark Deception levels are not cheap. They do cost a bit to make, whether it's money or time. Our team spends a lot of time making the assets, and because there's only 3 of us, then the other 2 are musicians and sound designers. We bring in help, so we hire contractors, and contractors cost money. So whereas a big AAA project can cost millions, our game costs thousands to make. So we've done very well at keeping our game low cost compared to what it should cost to make Dark Deception. We've been able to minimize that dramatically. Probably the most expensive level to make to this point was actually Mama Bear's level 8. That's definitely been the most expensive. Let's see. Artemy. Question number 10. What do you think about? Oh, this will be fun. What do you think about the toxic part of the community? Well, toxic part of the community. I think every community for every game has a good and bad part of their community. And I wouldn't say so much that they're bad as, well, what we label as the toxic fans are usually just the most passionate fans. And they're also the most impatient. So when there's leaks or harassment, it's usually those fans. Because I think, I usually put it this way to our members, is they care the most. They're being so toxic because they care so much. And they don't know how to, I think, manage that passion. So they exhibit it in a more negative way. But the underlying cause of that is that they care. So I feel like that's a good thing to have. I think it's good to have toxic fans because that means you have people who care about your game. If you didn't have any toxic fans, it means nobody cares about your game. So you have to take the good with the bad. That's my view on the toxic community. Most of them still buy the game. They're still there for us. They just do it in a very aggressive manner. So we're learning to manage that and find ways to include them without ruining it for everybody. We'll see. It's a balancing act. Question number 11, the Odd Penguin. What inspired you to make the Gold Watchers and how they work? I feel like maybe I told that story already, so I don't know if I want to answer it in full, but the Gold Watchers are kind of a combination of two things. Is one, I've always loved history, and American history ties into European history a lot. So we see a lot of guys in the colonial garb growing up and studying in school, as well as I went to not Vegas, but a casino show with my family a long time ago. And one of the characters was kind of a similar thing, and it was because of the lighting that I said, hey, he looks kind of creepy. And he was a judge. He didn't have any axe or weapon or mask or anything. He was just a colonial guy, and he looked creepy. And I thought if he had a mask and a weapon, he'd be kind of creepy. So that's where the Gold Watcher kind of grew out of that. Let me see where we at here. Question number 12 from Officially Imp. Will the Reaper nurses have a limited amount of time to be invisible, or will they turn visible when getting close to the player? So no, the Reaper nurses do not have a time limit for being invisible. It's, I guess you could say it's RNG, but usually they will do it in a tactical manner when they're close to the player or within range of the player. And it's the same thing as turning invisible. They won't just turn invisible and then run around the whole level. They'll turn invisible when they feel like they're in pursuit of the player or they're close. So a little bit of insight for how the Reaper nurses work before you get to play Chapter 4. Question 13 from Mama Bear X. How did you come up with the name Malik for Malik? Well, actually, I'm going to think about that a little bit. I remember, well, starting off, Malik was not named Malik. Originally, when the original script was written by Mike, our original writer, he named him Ereshkigal, which is actually, I think, historically a female demon's name. Ereshkigal. It just didn't quite roll off the tongue. So after a while, I decided to change the name, and I was looking for demon names, and somewhere in my search, I saw Malak. It was like M-A-L-O-K. And that sounded cool, but it was still kind of awkward to say it, so I changed it to an A, and it just rang better. And then later on, I realized that there was a Star Wars character named Malik. So I thought, well, if Star Wars thinks it's cool, then it must be a cool name to use. I liked it. And it was short, it's sweet, and it sounds dark, so we went with it. I don't think Malik has any complaints. Question number 14 from Dasher MC. What's your favorite Oh, okay, this is just a personal question. What's your favorite Super Mario 2D and 3D game? Well, I mean, like everyone, I love Mario. I played Mario growing up. So, favorite 2D game would definitely be, I guess, Super Mario World. Favorite 3D game would be probably the most recent one. I mean, I always like Mario 64, but I like Super Mario Odyssey. For me, at least. Question 15. Wolfina draws. Is there any lava in the barely buried level? No, there's not. 16. Pyro Shark. Oh, this is interesting. Whose idea was it to pick one of the Keplerians games? So, the story behind that is that I contacted the Keplerians team about adding one of their characters to Monsters and Mortals. So I emailed Keplerians, and they were interested. So we started discussing it, and then they mentioned to us that they were interested in redoing Evil Nun 1. And they actually said they were more interested to work with us on that than the Monsters and Mortals. So at first we were kind of like, well, we already have a lot of projects. I don't know if we can do that. But once we looked into Evil Nun and played it a bit, we thought it was a really cool, interesting game. Up to that point, I'd never played Evil Nun. I knew what Evil Nun was, but I never played it. And we really liked the puzzle horror style game, and we felt like that was a game that we could do a lot of justice for with our work style and our style of making games. So I thought it was a good fit with our company, and we decided to go with that. And at the same time, we also agreed to put it into Monsters and Mortals, so it was like a win-win. So that's kind of how we got matched up with Keplerian's team. And they're cool guys. Like, we've talked with them. They were Dark Deception fans, so they were really excited to work with us. They're out in Spain. And I think now they're working on Evil Nun 2. They've just announced it. So a lot of cool Evil Nun stuff coming if you're an Evil Nun fan. Question number 17. From Blazing Mammoth. Which would you say is harder, the theme park or the mall? Well, at the moment, I would definitely say the theme park because it's finished. The mall is in progress. It's still being built, so it's very buggy at the moment. If you're talking about like literally where it is now, I know you're talking about the design. Again, it's kind of the same thing I've told people in the past. It's like, I think it's subjective. Some people may find theme park more difficult. Some people may find the mall more difficult, depending on how skilled they are with each AI. I have people who tell me the game's too easy, and I have people begging for a hard mode. There's always 2 camps or 3 camps. It really depends on which side you fall into. Which one's going to be harder for you? Okay, question number 18 from Warlocky. What kind of mall... That's another mall question. You guys are really excited for Chapter 5. What kind of mall do the mannequins live in? An American mall. I guess that's how I would describe it. We used reference from American malls. That's what I know growing up. So that's what takes inspiration, what it's designed around. That's what it looks like. Question number 19 from Rock My Zombie. Are you waiting to release Chapter 4 after the wraps? Or do you think Chapter 4 will be done around the same time as the wraps? Well, Monsters and Mortals is slated for October 16th release. And I've already stated that the wraps, Penny's wrap, will be coming out September 30th. Barring some unforeseen catastrophe. So it's not going to come out immediately after the wraps. I can tell you that now. And it's not going to come out too close to Monsters and Mortals. So I'll let you all kind of guesstimate when the release date for Chapter 4 will be. But it is going to be soon. We'll put it that way. Question number 20 from Zero. When all 5 chapters are released, would you consider adding a Halloween update to the game? Like FNAF, Overwatch, etc. did. I've only played FNAF 1, and I've played a little bit of FNAF VR Help Wanted. So I guess you're referring to the Halloween update for that. But yeah, I mean, after Dark Deception's completely done, we're going to do Evil Nun. So we're going to be putting that out. That's going to be kind of our break from Dark Deception before we jump to Dark Deception 2. But yeah, I think maybe in between we could kind of warm up and test out some things by doing a DLC expansion for Dark Deception 1. Who knows? Everything's on the table at this point. I'm not going to say no, but it's too early to say. Right. Now we're going to go to Super Chats. See what we have in here. So 1 second. Let me hop on over. All right, so we do have some Super Chats to go through. All right, first one is from Tyler S. Dash. He threw in $2. Thank you, Tyler. Now remember the rule of Super Chats is I'll answer the questions as best as I can, but if you ask for a spoiler, I'm probably going to just have to move along because I can't answer those. So just be aware when you're asking your questions that I can't answer anything spoilery. So Tyler's question is, which Chapter 4 chase theme will we hear frequently? Well, I mean, that'd be all of them. It depends on how good you are, how often you're being chased. So I have a feeling you're going to hear the Joy Joy Gang and Mama Bear's chase theme a little bit more, but really they're all pretty equal. I think the enemies in Chapter 4 are very good at pursuing the player in their own way. Next we have the new threw in £2, or yep, I think that's pounds. Thank you, the new. It says, will we see bosses in Ayano's Lovesick's Labyrinth? So for those of you who don't know, we also have a crossover with Ayano's Lovesick Labyrinth. We did work on it. That is on pause for the moment, but we are going to go back to that. It's not canceled. We've talked about that online. So yes, there will be bosses in that. We've actually already designed out the game and kind of shown it to Yandere Dev. He's kind of signed off on it. So yeah, there's bosses, and they're kind of cool. We'll see how that goes once we get back to that. Kirov threw in 2 rubles. Thank you, Kirov. Will there be a video? Oh, will there be a voice reveal video for the matron? Possibly. We still have that as an option to release a voice reveal for the matron. We'll kind of evaluate if it's something we want to do before Chapter 4 releases, or if we want that to be a surprise. We'll see. Next, we have 40 rubles from... I can't read it. Sorry. I'll just say Lahao. Are you currently developing a rap for Penny? Yes. So we're already doing the instrumentals and the lyrics for the Penny rap. So yeah, that's coming on September 30th. Conspiracy Theory Fan-Made threw in $1.99. Thank you very much. I've got some ideas for questions. Okay. Well, send them to me later and I'll answer them. You can email them to me. Next one is from Roxana von Schneiderman, threw in 50 rubles. Thank you, Roxana. And that's just a donation. Thank you very much. That's awesome. Scruffy Cat threw in £10. Scruffy Cat asks, how can the Reaper nurses see through their medical bags? Also, is Joykill a mascot like Lucky, Penny, and Hangry? Well, I don't know. I mean, how does Spider-Man see through his mask? It looks opaque from the outside, but it's actually kind of transparent on the inside. You could use a similar argument for the Reaper Nurse's mask. Most people are guessing that it's made out of paper, but what is it made out of? Who knows? And as for Joykill, I'm mum on Joykill. I'm not sharing any details on him. That's going to be you'll see it when Chapter 4 comes out thing. Tyler Dash threw in another $2. Thank you, Tyler. How does Dan come up with names for his tracks? Actually, he doesn't. I name all the tracks. Although, Dan did name one track, and it's actually pretty good. It's Mind Your Manners. I thought that one was pretty clever. So he named that one, but after that, I just name all the songs. And as far as how I come up with them, I usually just relate them to the design, whatever part of the level that they're going to play in and what emotion they're supposed to be conveying. I'll try to come up with something, but I'm terrible with titles. I usually don't like to make titles, but I'm the only one doing it, so I just roll with whatever comes. I'll ask the other team members what they think before I put it up, because I know I'm terrible with titles. We'll see. Okay, Box and the Jack threw in 279 Canadian. Thank you. Will the Joy gang cameras work like ones in Bioshock? No, actually, it's been a while since I played Bioshock. I guess the thing I've played most recently that I could compare it to is Monstrum. So it's kind of like the Monstrum cameras in that it alerts enemies to your location. Tyler Dash threw in another 2. What happened to the Gold Watcher line over there? Anything that wasn't used in game is just on the cutting room floor. I mean, we'd love to use everything that Christopher Corey Smith records because it's all awesome, but we can only fit so much dialogue into the game before it's too much. So that's just something that got cut out. All right, Key Rove threw in another 2 rubles. Chapter 4 in October? Maybe. That's a good guess. I don't know. Could be. The New threw in another 2. It's euros. Sorry, not pounds. Euros. It says, will we see 4 zone levels? Will we see 4 zone levels? Will we see some mamas? 4 zone levels? No. We're not going to make the levels that big. 3 zones is as big as it will get for the rest of the game. Scruffy Cat threw in another 5 pounds. Thank you, Scruffy. Does Lucky know that Penny likes him? I think he knows. The thing with Lucky is psychopaths don't care. They don't really have real emotions. And he's also a robot, an artificial intelligence. So, yeah. He's not real big on love. We'll put it that way. Tyler Dash threw in another 2. Can Agatha open doors instead of teleporting through? Not at the moment. She will just usually teleport through. Agatha's a little bit lazy. If the door is open, she'll go through. Otherwise, she likes to teleport through. Maybe she's a little bit of a show-off. She likes to kind of rub it in your face that she can do things that you can't. But in Monsters Immortals, if you're playing as Agatha, you'll see her open the door. If there's doors. And multiplayer doors don't work that well. Okay, we've got $1.99 from Michael Mia. Thank you, Michael. Controller and Rumble support. Yes. So that's something we're going to do later once we do the console versions. I know people have been asking us to add that to Steam for a while. Seems like that's something that Nixon kind of wants to wait till later to do. So we're just kind of putting it off a little bit until all the chapters are done. But after the chapters are done, we'll add it in. Rooney Nico threw in 5 pounds. Thank you, Rooney. What are you calling these Q&As once Dark Deception finishes? They'll still be called Q&As. I mean, these aren't Dark Deception Q&As. It's just, that's what people ask questions about. Maybe later on when we're working on Monsters Immortals and Evil Nun, people will have a lot of Evil Nun questions once they see what that looks like. So Michael Mia threw another $1.99 in. Thank you, Michael, for the duplicate contributions. Says, I'm going to watch the new PBS Kids show before Chapter 4. Okay, go for it, man. All on board on that. Lahal threw another 100 rubles. Thank you very much for your multiple contributions. Says, when Chapter 4 is released and you start releasing content for Chapter 5, will you show the 10th monster? Maybe at some point. We may keep him a secret. We'll see. But for now, yeah, we're not going to show it. Blood Violet threw in $5. Thank you, Blood Violet. Tell me the purpose of the telepathy power, please. Telepathy. So, well, I mean, it's kind of spoiler to tell like what it's used for. But Yeah, there's no way I can tell that without spoiling something. So sorry, but it's going to be a you'll see response, how it's used in game. It does have an important purpose beyond, I think, what people already know about it from ripping the files, because Pierce does describe it in one of the audio files. She says you needed to get past a gate, but you'll see what else it's used for once you play Chapter 4. Jonathan Avery threw in 5. Thank you, Jonathan. Hi, Vince. I'm looking forward to the Hangry App. Thanks. I'm looking forward to getting the Hangry App out, finally, so that you all can hear it. I think the Lucky Wrap took a lot longer to make because we worked on it sporadically. It wasn't like it took 6 months of work. It only took like a month of work, but it was spread out over 6 months. This one was actually a kind of a pain to make because of Chris had a very kind of chaotic schedule. Like I told people, he was in the middle of shooting some work for other films, and he's also doing his own Indiegogo film. So he had a lot of film prep to do. It was very hard to get him into the studio to record. And, there's the pandemic, so that affects everything. Rocket Gaming recently got married, so congrats to those guys. That was Russell. So, yeah, he's kind of on a road trip with his new wife. It's kind of hard to interrupt that. So a lot of things going on at once, and yet we still got it done. And I wouldn't say too long, but a reasonable time frame for these kind of things. So yeah, I'm happy to get that out. Sylvia K threw in 2 Canadian. Thank you, Sylvia. Are you guys working on Chapter 5 music? Yeah, we've already got some of it done. I'm just not going to put it out before Chapter 4 releases. That'd be kind of weird. I don't have Chapter 4 out yet, and I start throwing up, Chapter 5 music. I'm sure you guys would love that, but it feels like, each segment of the soundtrack should wait its turn. Chapter 4 is getting its moment. Rennie Nico threw in another £5. Will the Chapter 4 and 5 monsters be in Monsters Immortals? Yes, but not until those chapters release, because we don't want to let people play as the monsters that are going to be the enemies in those chapters before they release. So yeah, not until after those go out. And also, thank you for the £5. Foxy542 threw in £2. I think that's just a donation. So thank you, Foxy. Reedy Nico threw in another 5. Wow, thanks for the multiple contributions. Have you seen the Dark Deception fan games on Dreams? No, I haven't. I wasn't even aware that they had fan games of Dark Deception on Dreams. So I'd love it if people share that with me. Just send me a link on Twitter or YouTube, or just email it to contact. I'll take a look. Dekrin threw in $1.99. Thank you, Dekrin. Do we use the hydraulic press to kill Joy Kill? I don't know. I don't know what the hydraulic press is either. So sorry, I don't know what that's referring to. But thank you for the contribution. Kakarat Gameplays threw in 1 ruble. That's just a donation, so thank you, Kakarat. Sylvia K threw in another 2 Canadian. Do the Dread Duckies play tag together? Well, the Dread Duckies are an active bunch. When they're alone in the sewer, who knows what they do? It seems like they just have dance-offs. Maybe. Something like that. And they also like to sell their plushies. Apparently. They're really good salesmen. Foxy542 threw another £5. Thank you, Foxy. What inspired the design of the Matron? Specifically the self-balancing hoverboard. So what inspired the design of the Matron was actually the Big Daddy from BioShock. So I wanted to make kind of a Big Daddy character that was kind of physically superior to the player, but more on the female side. Because, you're used to seeing, like, big dudes, like big guys come in and kind of like the guy from Outlast. I'm trying to remember his name. But that's kind of like a common trope in horror games. It's always some big guy that overpowers you. So I was like, well, what if it's a big woman that overpowers you? I'm sure they have that in some games, but it's something you don't see that often. And as far as the hoverboard goes, that was just kind of playing on the trope of wheelchairs in horror games. Whenever you have an asylum, there's always that You know, that wheelchair that comes in and falls over and has the little squeaky wheel that's supposed to be like suspenseful. So it was just kind of a little tease at that every horror game that's based around an asylum has to have a wheelchair. Mr. Saturn threw in $5. Thank you, Mr. Saturn. Why do you stream at 1 in the morning in your time? Sleep for Vince. Good question. Well, I tried out 2 different time slots. So I tried out 1 a.m. and I tried out 10 a.m. my time, because I'm in Asia. Now, the reason I do that is because most of our YouTube viewers are from the US and Western countries. I think as far as the game goes, it's pretty split evenly between Asia and the West. As far as our players, we have players from Japan, South Korea, China, but on YouTube, it's heavily skewed to the West. So Russia, the UK, Australia, and mostly the US make up the majority of our viewers. So I try to pick time slots that make it easier for those viewers to actually watch. So I did 10 a.m. and that didn't get as many viewers as the 1 a.m. slot did. And I checked it twice. So once I confirmed it, I just decided to stick with the 1 a.m. time slot. I'm usually up late anyway doing work, so it doesn't bother me too much. I'm a little tired at this time, so I may not have as much pep as I do at 10 a.m. But it's doable for me. It's not too bad, as long as you guys don't think it's too bad. But for the most part, our view count is pretty good, so I'll just stick with this time slot until it doesn't work. All right, I got my coffee, so I'm good. I'm good to go. Roxy Lolbit threw in 5. Thank you, Roxy. Will we see Joy Joy Gang plushies in the future? Yeah. So Lucky's going to be up next. I think they're talking about, I don't know what his exact release date is, but it will be in 2020. And it's going to be the same rules as Dread Ducky. It'll be a 30-day campaign. And when it's over, it's over. That'll be it for that plushie of Lucky. So I think that's kind of cool because it makes each one kind of a rare, well, pretty much is a rare collectible. Is whatever amount we sell, that's how many of these things exist in the world forever. We may do other Dread Duckies in the future. It's definitely possible we'll do Frenzy Mode Dread Ducky or some other, but it'll always be different designs. It will look very different from these. So this design is this is it. And Makeship sticks to that pretty well. They don't repeat their work. All right, so we got Jonathan Avery threw in $2.99. Says, I got the Dread Ducky plush, and I like it. Well, thank you for picking one up. I look forward to when they ship out so I can see everyone's reactions. I hope you guys all share a lot of photos on Twitter, and I'll definitely be reposting those and sharing them with everybody. I ordered a lot of them for my family as well, because I'm going to give them out to family and friends. And I've already got my son trying to steal these 2 from me. He's 4. He instantly gravitated to them. He's made 3 attempts to steal them from me. I had to promise him I bought him one, so he'll stop coming after these ones. So yeah, I hope everyone really likes them. They're really cool, and they're good quality. Wolfina Draws threw in 2. Thank you, Wolfina, as always. Hey, Vince, looking forward to this Q&A. Oh, I guess that was sent in earlier. Probably while you were all still waiting for me. But thanks, Wolfina. I appreciate it, as always. Anna Gilmore threw in £5. Thank you, Emma. Anna? Sorry. I said Emma. Anna, that's also just a donation, so thank you very much. That's how you know it's 1 a.m. here when I start fumbling my words. The coffee's wearing off. Oh no. M&L Show threw in 2. It's also a donation. So, M&L Show, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Tyler Dash threw in 2. It's like his 5th contribution. Thank you, Tyler. Hangry's Rap is coming on your birthday. Wow. Hopefully your parents are cool with you listening to it. It is explicit content. If you're over 18 and you don't live with your parents anymore, then hey, have fun, man. Happy birthday. I hope it's a good one. I hope the Hangry Rap makes it a little bit better. Terminator Revenant Slayer threw in $1.99. I really love Dread Ducky plush toy so much. That's awesome. I hope you're getting one. And I hope you'll like it a lot more in person than just having to look at the Makeship site at a photo. Trust me, these guys are fun to just kind of chill with. Lahao threw in another 100 rubles. On Mascot Mayhem and Zones, we can run 2 to 4 identical animatronics, or are clones created just for the story? I guess he's asking if there will be clone of the Joy Joy gang during gameplay, or if that's just in cutscenes. That's a bit of a spoiler, so I can't say. It's another you'll see response, so you'll see. And speak of the devil, IHS Games threw in $2 and says you'll see. See, he knew. He already knew the answer to that question. Terminate Revenant Slayer, another $1.99. Thank you again. My Dread Ducky plush toy is coming soon. Oh yeah, it is. I'm gonna hope that the production goes through faster. You know, they always estimate out 2-3 months, but I'm gonna hope that things go well and they get things out a bit ahead of schedule. But who knows? Nitro D's threw in HUF 400. Not sure what currency that is, but will Joy Kill have clones too? You'll see. Just have to keep giving that response. District D threw in 40 rubles. Will the number of enemies increase in hard mode? No. Just the enemies' abilities will increase. So their speed, their aggressiveness, things of that nature. So if you thought the Gold Watchers were too fast now, try them on hard mode. Okay, Drogan Pyther threw in €5. Thank you, Drogan. Will Reaper Nurses and or the Matron cross-turn... Oh, well, they're cross-turn red in Frenzy mode. Also, I love Dark Deception. Well, thanks, man. I love the compliment. That's great. I'm glad you enjoy it. Will their cross turn red? No. And do you want to know why? Because Red Cross would sue us. That's right. If you haven't noticed, in video games, you never see a red cross. And even in Battlefield, it's always a green cross. Or some cross that gets close to red, but it never goes full solid red cross. That's because Red Cross sues everybody. And it doesn't matter how big or small you are, they come after you. They are very aggressive about protecting their Red Cross rights. So, no, we will never have a glowing Red Cross because they will definitely sue us. Alright. Anna Gilmore threw in £5. Thank you again. Will the nurses be different in terms of weaponry? For example, will some wield syringes and some wield pills? Well, you could say that the Matron and the Reaper Nurse will have different weaponry. It's not going to be different weaponry between the Reaper Nurses, no. Blood Violet threw in another 5. Thank you, Blood Violet. Are the Reaper Nurses blind and do they have super hearing? No, the Reaper Nurses are not blind. I'll say that much. Lo-Fi Marble threw in, or Lo-Fi Marble threw in $2. Thank you, Lo-Fi. What if the Joy Joy gang made a YouTube channel? It'd have a lot of swearing. Just put it that way. Especially if Lucky is the one, uploading content and creating content for the channel. It would definitely get a bit over the top. We'll put it that way. Dog Tour threw in $1.99. Hey, Vince. I just want to say hello. Sleep for Vince. Yeah, I definitely need some sleep after this. Hey, but you guys can jump right over to Gamescom after this, so I'm sure you guys can catch all the cool news. When I wake up in the morning, I'll see what all the hype's for 2021. I'm sure there's some cool stuff coming with a PS5 around the corner. Who's buying a PS5? I hope you all... I don't know if anyone wants to buy it at launch, but Resident Evil 8 looks cool. We'll see. Jonas Fisher threw in £2. Will we get more Monstrum characters and Monsters Immortals? Yes, actually, I have some good news on that. We've been talking with Team Junkfish. Originally, we were just going to add the Brute, but now we are adding the Fiend as well. So it will be the Fiend and the Brute in the Monstrum pack. Uh-oh. YouTube did that jump thing again. Sorry, I gotta find my place. It skipped ahead a lot. Okay, back. Blood Violet. Threw in another 5. Wow, Blood Violet's on a roll. Is Joy Joy Land based on the theme park Doug took Tammy Hauser to, or his own child? I think that I saw that online. That was kind of like a fan kind of theory for what the level symbolizes for Doug. Since that's story related, it's a spoiler. I can't go into it. If you want to know what the theme park symbolizes for Doug or how it relates, then find all the secret rooms in the theme park level. Werewolf Danger, threw in $1.99. How's your day going? And keep it up, man. It's going great. Q&A day, man. It's the best day. Best day. 1 a.m. I'm loaded with caffeine, and we're answering questions. This is great. But thanks for the $1.99. I appreciate it. Victor Toothy, DKK45. How did you learn 3D encoding? Well, I learned 3D going to college and just studying on my own. There's a lot of gaps in college of what you learn and what you need for the job market. So after you leave college, the learning doesn't stop. You just keep learning. And usually you learn as your job asks you to do things. So when you get a job, if you go into the game industry, I know some fans have written me and told me that they want to work in the game industry. So the first thing to know is that your job will probably ask you to do things that you weren't hired to do. They all do that. And you kind of have to be able to learn new things as you go if you want to keep your job. So if you're a 2D artist and you're used to doing, concept illustrations, and they ask you to do some UI icons in vector art, then you better get out there and go learn some vector art. It's kind of that deal. That's how I kept learning. They kept asking me to do things that weren't on my job description. So as for the coding, my coding skill is trash. Like, I know how to do coding for UI. I code buttons, and I can do some scripts. That is Nixon's department. All of the coding in Dark Deception is Nixon. So that's his domain. I stay on the art side and the design side. That's where I live. Sonic Plush Fan 2000 through and 5. Thank you, Sonic. Will the mannequins have voices? If so, will they be different for each one? Actually, we've gotten that one before. No, the mannequins will not have voices. They're kind of like the Dread Ducky. They will make noises, not voices. Kelly Newbie threw in 2 Canadian. Thank you, Kelly. Help, my super chat question is not working. Well, if you throw your question in the live chat right now, I'll read it. If you're still in there. Are you still around? I'll give you 5 seconds. If not, just throw it in there and maybe I'll see it and I can answer it before the end. Alright, we're going to move on. Mr. Saturn, $5. Could a nightmare that Doug gets through easily have more zones and be considerably harder for a different mortal? That's a hypothetical question. Sure, yeah. I mean, it varies from mortal to mortal, so everybody has different abilities and skills. Doug's are what kind of make him unique. If there's a different mortal, maybe they're not as adept at using the ring's powers, or maybe they're unable to use the ring's powers for whatever reason. Devin S. threw in 3 Canadian, but he retracted his message, so I'll just say thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Conspiracy Theory threw another $1.99. What is Penny's speed? Slow. Kind of. Slower than the other 2, we'll put it that way. Well, I guess no, she's faster than Hangry. Hangry is probably the slowest when he's not angry. UBF 13 threw in 5. What do you think of DD Fan Reaper's work? Oh, okay. Yeah, I've actually seen a lot of DD Fan Reaper's work recently. It's getting retweeted a lot. I was actually really impressed with it, especially once I saw his age. I mean, the kid's like 13 years old. And he already he's created some of the best, I think, Dark Deception kind of fan mock-up imagery. I don't know if it's actually playable or if it's just kind of like an animated scene. But regardless, for a 13-year-old, that's really good. So I think the kid's got a bright future ahead of him if he keeps working hard. I'd love to see more of his stuff. It's a shame he lost some of it a little while back. Kitty Future. Will all the Reaper nurses have roller skates, or will some of them have them and others won't? Also, Kitty Future threw in 5. Thank you very much. All of the Reaper nurses have roller skates, yes. None of them have, like, regular shoes or high heels or anything. Levon Hawkins threw in 5. Thank you, Levon. Did you really voice Dread Ducky? Yeah. So I did the Dread Ducky voice for the plushie ad, and it was pitch shifted. So, yeah, I got to do a little bit of voice acting. It was fun. I don't get to do much voice acting in Dark Deception, so I figured I might as well do a little bit for the commercial. Wolfina Draws threw in 5. Thank you, Wolfina. For Monsters Immortals, if there's a Halloween update, will there be any Halloween-themed monsters or locations? For example, witches, vampires, or zombies? Yeah, I think definitely maybe next year, in 2021, we could do a Halloween. For this year, it's a little bit too close. We're just trying to get the game launched and get it out. So there's not much time to do like special packs or anything like that. There's only enough time to do the basic game, like the base game, and then some of the guest DLC. So we're going to target all that fun kind of extra content stuff for probably next year. Right now our focus is just to get the game out and have it run great and make it a fun game that everybody wants to play. Blood Violet threw in another 5. Thank you again, Blood Violet. Will the Hangry Rap video show Joy Gang level gameplay and is Cold Hearted either a level theme or intro theme? Yes, Hangry Rap video will show some footage. Some of it people may have seen, some of it may be new. We'll see. And Cold Hearted is a level theme. It's for gameplay. Rock My Zombie threw in 5. If you would have went with the Clown Brute design with all the different weapons for Crazy Carnival, how different would the gameplay have been? Well, I mean, the clowns probably would not have cloned. It would have just been something more like the Dread Ducky, with a few of them running around with multiple attack options. And that pretty much is equivalent to the Dread Ducky. So that's why I kind of moved the design away from it. Be basically making the same character twice, just with a different appearance. And we're all about every character has to have their own unique AI and style of gameplay. So Cinnamon, Devin S threw in 2 Canadian. Thank you, Devin. Can you change Nurse's Portal before Chapter 4 releases? Nurse's Portal has already been changed, so that's already set and good to go. Cinnamon Roll threw in 5. Hope you're doing well. Will Mama Bear's mouth move, or will it be static like the Joy mascots? That is something you'll have to see once we get Chapter 4 releases. It's one of those you'll see answers. Kim Zach threw in PLN 10. Will we use a flashlight in Mama Bear's level? No. Me and Nixon kind of sat down and discussed that about having a flashlight in the cave, and we're just like, nah. So that got thrown out pretty fast. Kelly Newbie threw in 2 Canadian. All right. So you got it this time. DD multiplayer, localization in different languages. Yeah. Eventually. Not at launch. But it's going to launch in English only, and just like Dark Deception, we will add other languages after that. So kind of bear with the English subtitles to start with if you're a foreign language, if you speak a different language than English, and you're from a country that's not an English-speaking country. We are going to work on localization and get that out, so it will be coming. We just won't have it ready at launch because our focus is on, finishing the game. In the music, next one is from Apple Lord, $5. In the music, Feel the Joy. At 109, the music starts to speed up. Is that when Lucky's speed boost will happen, or will it happen randomly? Yeah, so the Lucky's abilities are not tied to the music at all. We don't sync the Joy Gang up to the music, so yeah, it's not related. Devin S threw in another 5 Canadian. Thank you, Devin. Can you make a compilation on your YouTube channel of cut characters, places, and things? Well, that would be a very short video if I did it. because there's not many cut characters. I think it's better with the we already did the cut audio that kind of revealed a couple characters that never even made it to the design phase. Like there's no drawings of them. It's just a recorded audio because we had to fill some time with Carolyn Seymour. I think that's probably the best you're going to get for that. Now, as we make more games like Dark Deception 2 and Monsters and Mortals and Evil Nun, we're going to have a lot more cut characters. So I guess maybe in another year I can make a good cut character video. It's just right now we have one game. It's too soon. Blood Violet threw in 10. Thank you, Blood Violet. You're on a roll today. Do all portals require you to go back to the beginning of the level to escape the nightmare? For example, let's say we get to Zone 3. Do we need to go back to Zone 1 to escape? Yes. Unfortunately, that is the way Malik has set up his nightmares, is that there's only one way in or out. So now, no matter how deep you go into the nightmare, you have to get back to the beginning to escape. Now, the route you take to go forward is not the same route you will take to go back. So it's a little bit different, but yes, you have to get to the portal. Nikki Shark threw in $1.99. Thank you, Nikki. That's just a donation, so thank you very much. Jonathan Avery threw in another $1.99. Will we ever play monsters in Monsters and Mortals? Well, I hope so. Otherwise, I'm lying to people about being monsters and mortals. So yeah, you'll get to play as monsters, and we have some cool ones lined up. All of the Dark Deception characters and a lot of guests. And we have some very interesting guests coming that I think people won't be expecting. Key Cube threw in 5. Thank you, Key. Have you ever considered adding keybinds to Dark Deception so you don't have to scroll through every power-up? Yeah, so key binding is something we used to have in. We had a mode, basically a Dark Deception launcher, where you could go in and set your screen resolution and do key bindings. Unfortunately, the launcher, I didn't even know Nixon took it out, but apparently Nixon removed it because it was causing a lot of bugs at launch. So we have to find a way to put those in and not have the bugs. It sounds like something simple to do, but actually it requires a little bit of work. So that's something we'll definitely have in, by the time Chapter 5 is out and the game's just completely finished. But it's something kind of like controller support and rumble support. It'll get in there, but it may not happen like tomorrow or the next month or something like that. It'll be in there before the game's finished. Lahal threw in another 100 rubles. Thank you again. It's like your third or fourth contribution. So I appreciate the support. What fan games by Dark Deception or games inspired by Dark Deception do you know besides Demon's Deception? Do you know the game The Price of Trust? No, I don't know The Price of Trust, and I've seen some shots of Demon's Deception, but I don't know a lot about it. I've seen Fazbear's Deception. I think most of the fan games that I see are like fan crossovers between like Five Nights at Freddy's and Bendy and Ink Machine. Those are the ones that I usually hear about first. I haven't seen like a straight up just Dark Deception by itself fan game. So I'm actually interested if anyone ever does something like that. I knew there was a team working on Dread Ducky's Quest, which was like a 2D platformer. That was one of the only ones I saw that was pure Dark Deception. So if Price of Trust is a pure Dark Deception game, I'd like to see it. Or even if it's just a clone that has the same style of gameplay, it'd be interesting to see. It's another one of those things to like tag me on Twitter or Instagram. I'll check it out. We got $5 from Alex Galbo. Will monsters from Dark Deception 2 be implemented into Monsters and Mortals when it happens? Yeah, I mean, if Monsters and Mortals does well and it's still around, it's still expanding and growing, then yeah, definitely put in Dark Deception 2. It'll include the entire Dark Deception universe as it grows. So that game will grow with Dark Deception. Sylvia K threw in $1 Canadian just as a donation. Thank you. We appreciate every penny. That's awesome. Lahal threw in another 100 rubles. Do Bierce's earrings and necklace have magical abilities? Well, if anyone has looked closely at Bierce's earrings and necklace, they're actually soul shards. just in a different form. As to whether those give her any abilities, it's an interesting question. Maybe we'll find out later. Jonathan Avery, Dark Deception for Fortnite, $1.99. That'd be interesting. I'd take Dark Deception in Fortnite, Fall Guys, any of those games. I'm all about collabing, so I'd love to see other games put our costumes into their game. I think Yandere Dev said he was going to put Dark Deception costumes into Yandere Simulator at some point, but I know right now everybody just wants him to get like Osana out, so that's kind of like when it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, that's fine too. We'll see. I just like to see anything, collabing's fun. If Dark Deception's out there and anything else besides Dark Deception games or stuff we make, that's a win for me. That's great. It means more people can enjoy Dark Deception. Kelly Newby threw in 2 Canadian. Thank you. It says, if so, Monsters Immortal translation before or after launching? Oh, I think maybe you didn't hear the other one. It's after launching. We're going to do that afterwards. It won't come before. Blood Violet also threw another 10. Thank you again. Wow, it's amazing. It's like 8 donations or something. Suggestion for future Dark Deception level: abandoned nursery, daycare with killer toys, or giant spiders, Black Widow, with paralyzing spider web attack. Please rate from a scale of 1 to 15, or 1 to 5. I don't know where 15 came from. My eyes are like merging them together right now. Well, giant spiders are something we get suggested for a lot. I guess a lot of people are afraid of spiders. That makes sense. Killer toys. Yeah, that's like another thing that's always kind of prominently featured in horror. Chucky, killer dolls, stuff like that. A lot of cultures have that rooted in their horror mythology. If I had to go between the two, I'd go with giant spiders, just because I feel like more people are scared of that. Oh, YouTube, doing another jump. Okay, I got it back faster this time. Wolfina Draws, $5. Thank you, Wolfina. Again, what's one of your favorite voice lines from Dark Deception? Well, some of my favorite voice lines are from the cut edition of Dark Deception, but yeah, I think one of my favorite lines is definitely from Beer's, the opening one, where she's like, I thought you'd be bigger. I never thought that would kind of trigger so many YouTubers while playing, so that was kind of fun. Let's see what we got here. GameCube James threw in 2 Canadian. What monster scares you the most? For me, it's always been clown. So at the moment, it's Clown Gremlin, but I think I'll have to give it to Lucky and Mama Bear after that. Probably Mama Bear. If I'm being honest, Lucky's psycho, but Mama Bear just freaks me out. Cinema Roll threw in $5. Thank you. Vincent's Coffee Fund. All right, I'm going to take that and use it purely for coffee. The next time I'm doing a Q&A, I'm going to say this coffee is funded by Cinema Roll. So thank you very much. I need that coffee. Lahao threw in 40 rubles. How did you come up with the character Mama Bear? Mama Bear originally was, I don't know if you've heard this, but it was originally Penny the Panda. So Penny the Panda was going to be one of the Joy Joy gang. And it just didn't work out. I decided to cut it. It didn't fit that well with the gang because of the animal types. We already had a character that was similar to her in Penny, so I decided just to make Penny the Chicken instead of Penny the Panda. But I liked Penny the Panda, and I decided to give her her own level. And the one thing you always hear expressed a lot, like an old expression, is that a lot of moms will say that they are Mama Bear. They protect their cubs, when they refer to their kids. When people threaten their kids, they say it brings out their kind of inner Mama Bear, because female bears are vicious. If you ever go near a cub in the wild, the Mama Bear is probably not, too far off. She'll tear you to shreds. So it was fun to kind of play on that and make that into a character. That's kind of where that came from. Let's see. Doctor threw in $2.99. What was Pin's favorite level to design? Well, Pin hasn't designed the levels. I've designed the levels, but Pin has helped me with character design. So when I make character designs, I'll usually ask her opinion. So Pin has helped a lot with helping me kind of select the characters from the sheet of like dozens of character potential designs that I come up with. Because I'll have like my own idea of which ones I like, but sometimes hearing it, others' opinions helps me narrow it down in a better direction. So Pin's helped me a lot with that. Jonas Fisher threw in £2. Reaper Nurse brand chocolate spread. I was just talking to Pin today about hangry. This may gross some of you out, but there's a gummy factory here in Taiwan. So we were talking about doing Dark Deception gummies at some point, give some Dark Deception snacks, and one of the suggestions was hangry barbecue flavored gummies. Yeah, would you guys go for that? Barbecue flavored gummies? I think they can do it, since hangry's all about the ribs and barbecue sauce. I'm pretty sure they can do like meat flavored gummies too. It's pretty crazy what they can make. Victor Toothy threw in DKK 45. That's his second one, so thank you, Victor. Do you have a job beside making games? Making videos? I guess that counts. No, this is my career. This is what I do. Actually, making videos was something I kind of tacked on just to connect to the community more. I don't really consider that my job, even though we're doing the live streams now and making other video content. First and foremost, that's what I do. I design games. I'm a game developer. If I can do that till the end of my days, then that's a win for me. Doctor 499. Regarding the mannequin, do you think the noise they make will be considered eerie to the player? Also, I just want to say, you'll see. All right. Well, you may have answered your own question. Well, I can answer that. Oh, I mean, the player is you, so if you guys are freaked out by the noise, then we've done our job well. We definitely don't want the noise to comfort you, so it will probably freak you out if we've done our work correctly. But really, that's all Chris Pinkston, so I'm sure he'll come up with something good. Wolfina Draws threw in 2. Would you voice one of the future monsters in Dark Deception? Yeah, actually I would, if I could do a good voice. I mean, the only thing I really care about is that the voice is amazing, because that's, what players are paying for. So it's not like an ego thing, like, oh, I gotta put my voice in so I can, feel special. If my voice is the best voice for that character, I will do it. If it's not, I will get the best person to do the voice for that character, because that's what I want to give to players, the best voice. But yeah, I mean, if I can do a good job on one, I would love to do it. This time I couldn't do it because I am not a SAG actor. And we have Dark Deception is a SAG project, which is Screen Actors Guild. So if you ever watch movies, Hollywood movies, TV shows on, like Cartoon Network or CBS or whatever, those are all Screen Actor Guild members. Those are all Screen Actor Guild projects, which means you have to follow union rules. Which means you can only hire Screen Actor Guild actors. So that's one of the consequences of being a union project, is that you can only hire union actors, but those are usually the best talent. And that's the only way you get to work with them. So once we hired Carolyn, who was Dr. Chakwas in Mass Effect, and Queen Mira in Gears of War, once we brought her in to do Bierce, that made the whole project a union project. So from there on, we could only hire union voice actors, which means I can't do any of the character voice for my own game. But that's fine, because they're amazing, and I've enjoyed working with them. Blood Violet threw in 5. Another 5. That's awesome. What phobias does Mama Bear's level represent? And is feeling lucky exclusive to Lucky? In Lucky's mind, all luck is exclusive to him. And it actually sends him into a rage if he feels like another person or player is luckier than him. As you'll see when you play through Chapter 4, he's a bit obsessed with luck. As far as phobias for Mama Bear, that's a you'll see answer. I think a lot of people have asked me, like, what does Mama Bear represent for Doug? What does the level represent? What fears does she represent? I would say the same answer I gave for theme park level, which is find all the secret rooms and you'll get your answer. Isaac Smith, $5. Are there horror characters you would love to be in Dark Deception, but there would be no possible way to get them in, even in future installments? Well, we don't have any guest horror characters, so I think that definitely applies to Monsters Immortals. But for Dark Deception, all of our characters are original, so if we come up with something, we can put it in. We don't have any guest characters that kind of join into Dark Deception. That's why we made Monsters Immortals, so that we could have something like that where we can invite other horror characters into the Dark Deception universe and have them kind of compete against each other. That's fun. So we've already encountered something like that with Monsters Immortals. We have some very interesting characters or IP that have agreed to join us, and we've had some that are very difficult to get them to agree. What's interesting is it's an interesting mix of both indie and AAA. And so far, it's been a lot harder to get the indie IP, which was a surprise. So yeah, there's definitely some, and hopefully over time we'll get more. But I think we have already a lot. And I'm looking forward to when I can finally share those. Let's see, I lost my place. Sorry. Devin S. Okay, Canadian $2. How many trigger teddies are going to be chasing you? A lot? I'll say that much. A lot, yeah. UBF 13, through and 5. Thank you, UBF. That's another contribution. Why is Hangry's rap explicit? Didn't you say he wasn't going to go off like Lucky did? Yeah, he's not going to go off like Lucky did. He's still going to go off. So I have to put the warning, because as soon as he says, like one swear word, it's explicit content. I don't want any kids to be listening to that with their parents right next to them, and then, Hangry pops out like an F-bomb or something. Well, the good news is, to meet YouTube's criteria, there's no swearing in the first 30 seconds. So for the first 30 seconds, you're safe. After that, make sure you have your parents' permission to listen to it, so I don't get any angry emails from parents. That's why we put the warning there, clearly for everyone to see. Domcar. Oops, a jump, sorry. I love that. I was about to read it, and then YouTube jumped ahead. Okay, I'm back. Domcar 222. What Dark Deception character should I try to draw? Well, I actually just recently I asked people to send me Mama Bear art. And we're going to pick one of those to go in the game. So if you have Mama Bear art with trigger teddies, definitely send it to us. It's one area that's kind of lacking right now. We're trying to pick a Mama Bear art to put in the game. And most of the entries have been Reaper Nurse and Joy Joy Gang. So we'd love to see more Mama Bear art with trigger teddies. Do them both together. Irvin Cruz, $1.99. And his message was retracted. So I'll just say thank you very much for the donation. Wolfina Draws through in 10. That's another 10. Thank you. Hello again, Vince. What do you think about a monster from Dark Deception becoming a Fall Guys skin? And which monster would you be interested in seeing as a Fall Guys skin? Well, I was actually doing a stream today of Fall Guys on my just my personal gameplay channel, which is called Glowstick Vince. And I was saying it'd be really cool if we were able to get Fall Guys Mediatonic to agree to do a Dark Deception costume pack. But right now they're going through, the big names. So they're going through Valve. They're trying to get musicians like Lady Gaga and Fall Out Boy. They're starting at the top. If they ever get down to the indie level, like little guys like us, I would love to see, like a Lucky the Rabbit outfit, or a Mama Bear, or a Murder Monkey. Pretty much any character. That's one of the animals I think could work pretty well. Dread Ducky. But we'll see. we'll see if they ever reach out to us, or maybe I should just reach out to them and see. What's the worst they can say? Nope. All right. Lahal threw in another 40 rubles. Thank you. Will you show Joy Kill in future wraps? Nope. Joy Kill will never be shown. Mr. Saturn, $5. Thank you. Appreciate it. What's one game you want to cross over with Dark Deception that might be possible in the future? And thanks for such an amazing stream. Actually, I think I checked off a lot of the ones that I wanted to cross over with Monsters and Mortals. We've had a lot of success with the partnerships. Maybe one that I haven't really approached yet, I haven't even reached out to talk about it with him, is Scott Cawthon in Five Nights at Freddy's. So I know Scott doesn't really collab much at all or do crossovers. I don't know how open to the idea he would be, but I think it would be cool at some point to do maybe FNAF and Monsters and Mortals or some kind of crossover with them, because I feel like our fan base is shared and our games have things in common. But that's kind of the same situation. Both sides have to be willing. We'll see. I know Nixon's helping him with one of the fan games. He's helping him with a console port for TJOC, so maybe that will warm him up to the idea. We'll see. What else we got here? Devin S. threw in another 2. Why did you give a release date for Monsters and Mortals but not Chapter 4? Because I said I would not give a release date for Chapter 4 until it was done, and it's not done. And Chapter 4, if for some reason I miss the release date again, people will be far more angry about that. So I'm not going to put the Chapter 4 release date out until it's 100% done. And I'm pretty much just going to keep rolling with that explanation. Lahal threw in another 100 rubles. Thank you. Well, this is endless. This is awesome. Will there be traps in the hospital, linked specifically to the hospital, or like on Stranger Stewards, only spikes? So the hospital has its own traps. Yes. But, first off, the nurse is enough to deal with. But yes, there are traps. They're not as prevalent as the spikes in the sewer, but they are kind of the same type. They're part of the environment. So yeah, I guess that's the most I can say about that. I don't want to give away the traps. But yeah, there are traps in the hospital. Urban Cruz threw in $1.99. Hola, how are you doing? Well, the coffee is rapidly wearing off, but I'm still doing good. It's like 2:25 a.m. here. But hey, this stream's awesome so far. I love the enthusiasm on a lot of these questions. We're getting some good questions. Doctor threw in $1.99. Thank you, Doctor. It's because the mannequins intrigue me a lot. Okay, I guess you're referring to a previous thing. But hey, thanks for another contribution. I appreciate it. Yeah, the mannequins intrigue a lot of people, I think. And there hasn't been a lot of info given on them yet. So I think that makes people a little bit more excited to learn more. And trust me, we have a lot of info about the mannequins coming, but not until after Chapter 4 releases. We have to do that first. So just a little bit more, not too much longer, and then the floodgates for Chapter 5 will open. We'll start sharing the music and the stuff, the designs. It's coming. Green Yoshi threw in 2. Does the mama bear have night vision? Yeah, she can see in the dark. So yeah, hiding in shadows won't save you. Blood Violet. Did you include a factory under the theme park just for Terminator reference? I know no theme park with an underground facility, or it's just cool. No, it ties together. You'll see once you play it. We have plenty of Terminator references too. Alright, Lahal threw in 40 rubles. Will there ever be a short film about this game? Possibly. Maybe at some point. I don't know, officially, like if it'd be something through Netflix, if our popularity ever gets to the point where they would support that, or it could just be something on YouTube. I've seen a lot of fan-made short films about stuff like Hello Neighbor and FNAF and Bindi. So if there's any supportive fans out there that want to make a short film about Dark Deception, just as a music video, as a kind of a fan-made short film, that'd be awesome to see. I'm always looking for those. All right. UBF 13 through and 2. Will the Chapter 4 trailer come after Penny's Rap? Yes, it will come after. Not immediately after, but after. Conspiracy Theory through $1.99. Again, thank you for the multiple contributions. What is the matron's personality? Well, she's the boss. That's all I can reveal. And I mean that literally and figuratively. That's her personality. Lahao, is there a chance that there will be several Mama Bears, or is there just a single character? There's only one Mama Bear. There's a lot of Trigger Teddies. Devin S. threw in 2 Canadian. Do mannequins use red light, green light? No, they don't. Lise Loves Art threw in 5. Will the Chapter 4 enemies have a stunning ability just like Dread Duckies? Yes, some of them will be able to stun you. So, yeah. Well, this is kind of weird. YouTube's kind of freezing up, so I may have to move on to subscriber questions and then go back to Super Chats at the end. Alright, so let's jump over to subscriber questions, and then I'll come back to Super Chats after that. So, question number 1 from Murder Monkey 2. Is there gonna be a Zone 2 in Barely Buried? Yeah, there's a Zone 2. Question number 2 from Yoshi Kid. Was Disneyland the inspiration for Joy Joy Land? If not, what was? Actually, Joy Joy Land has multiple inspirations, so it's not just one. Disneyland was an inspiration, definitely. It's probably the most famous, theme park in the world. And it ties in with mascots, which is something that the Joy Joy gang is based off of. So, yeah, Disneyland. Some parts are inspired by Disneyland. Some parts are inspired by a park that was in... Actually, it's a real park that was in China. It's called Wonderland. And that park no longer exists. It's kind of an urban legend. It was pretty spooky, and it was destroyed, I think, 10 years ago or 8 years ago, 2012. Completely demolished. Doesn't exist, went bankrupt. It was a park they were building, and they never finished it. So it's kind of like a ghost theme park. That's kind of cool, right? But we thought it was supposed to be a clone of Disneyland. So even Wonderland was a clone of Disneyland. And it was going to be one of those clone parks in China. But they ran out of money and never finished it. So I guess you could say everything is inspired by Disneyland, since kind of multiple of the inspirations are clones of Disney. We did have some inspiration for roller coaster parks for Great America, stuff like that. But yeah, I guess you would say mostly Disneyland. George Gordiv, will Trigger Teddies have any sort of long-range attacks? Sort of. You'll see. Smack and Pie. Oh, we got a question from Smack and Pie. Okay, question number 4. Can we play as Dan or Penn or Nixon, or even you, Vince, in Monsters and Mortals as mortals or monsters? Well, I'd be sad if I was a monster. Also, any chance of other team members joining these QA streams? It's a cool question. So, yeah, actually we have a pack coming at some point after launch, not for launch. That's going to have all of the Glowstick team in it. So it'll be me, Nixon, and Penn as playable characters for the mortal side. So if anyone's ever dreamed of killing us as monsters, now's your chance. And another interesting tidbit is that Yandere Dev has agreed to let us add him as a mortal. So that's another developer that may or may not join Monsters and Mortals. And as far as the team members joining the The Q&A stream, I've asked Pin, but she's a little bit camera shy. So maybe at some point she'll join. Nixon's not here in Asia with me, so he can't join in. And I don't think he likes to live stream. So I think I'm by my lonesome for the moment. But I'm going to try to get guests. I think that would be fun to have another person on the live stream to do the Q&A. I'll probably get Pen on at some point. Let's see. Question 5 from Jose C. Will you ever consider making Dread Ducky? Oh, that's a merch question. Will you ever consider making Dread Ducky boxers or caps? Maybe. I mean, we do all of our apparel through Teespring. I don't think they have boxers at the moment, but they do have hats. So we were actually talking about making some new merch for Teespring. Some of the merch that we were discussing was, hats, enamel pens, so you can put them on your bags, in your shirts, or wherever you want to put them. I just like to throw them on my backpack. And backpack clips. So they have some cool stuff that we haven't actually designed anything for. And we're going to try to get those out by end of year or 2021. Let's see. Question number 6 from Pug and a Mug. What is the best zone of all 3 levels in Chapter 4 visually? Well, I think they all look good. But I think maybe the one that looks the most unique is the Mama Bear level, just because it's one of the most organic levels. Question number 7 from Jupti. However you say that. How many trigger teddies will there be in the level? Oh, it's like, we kind of answered that with the super chats, but a lot. I can't give you an exact number, but you'll see how many there are. Mokeweed, question number 8. From a game design standpoint. Okay, I like those kind of questions. What is it about the mannequins that made you decide to have them be the final normal monster of the game? Well, first I have to ask you a question. Who says they're the final normal monster of the game? I'll leave it at that. Question number 9 from Amos the Dude. Did Bierce acquire the power-ups from the monsters themselves? Since Agatha can teleport, Dread Duckies can stun, etc. Yeah, in fact, I think I answered that question in a previous Q&A stream, but if anyone hasn't noticed, the ring pieces give Doug the powers of the enemies that he's defeated. So, the monkey's rage becomes the speed boost. Agatha's teleport gives him teleport. The Gold Watcher's ability to always know where you are is the X-ray vision. The Dread Ducky's stun gives you Primal Fear, which is the stun ability. So yeah, it does come from the enemies. Melody, question number 10. Will we ever see what Agatha used to look like? Possibly. You'll see. Question number 11. Bright Diamond. Will you plan on releasing Chapter 4 and Dark Deception Monsters and Mortals around the same time, or will there be a release gap in between them to avoid overshadowing? We call that cannibalizing, where you release them too close together and they eat each other's sales. So yeah, there will be a release gap because it's not a good business idea to release both your games at the same time. So sorry to everyone that was hoping Chapter 4 would be out on October 16th. No. All right, we have question number 12 from Quaitman. How big will the passageways be on the 8th level? Well, there's many passageways. They kind of vary in size. They'll be big. Wide. It's not going to be claustrophobic in all areas. Let's see. Question number 13 from Woozy Channel. Will there be multiple enemies or just one enemy in the 10th portal? Well, I mean, the 10th portal hasn't even been revealed yet who the enemy is. So that's a definitely you'll see question. You'll see. Question 14, Psychotor. In Monsters and Mortals, what can we expect in terms of gameplay for the Mortals? Will they all play the same, or will they have abilities that set them apart like the monsters? Yeah, the Mortals will have abilities that set them apart. They're all unique in what they do. So they're all a different type, and they have a different ultimate ability. So we'll see what each player can do when you get to play Monsters and Mortals. Question number 15 from Pineapple P. I was wondering, how exactly does Malik get the monsters for each nightmare? Does he make them himself? Are there some that were once human, but became monsters at some point? Or a mix of both? That's a good question. How does Malik get all those monsters? How did he become boss of so many nightmares? That sounds like something that might be a story element in chapter 4 and 5. So that's a you'll see answer. I'll get you to that. 16 from Timoteo. Do you have any ideas about monsters in the Dark Deception sequel? I don't mean which ones, but whether there are any ideas at all, one or more. Yeah, I mean, I have some ideas in the back of my head for Dark Deception 2. Once we get past Dark Deception 1, everybody's still waiting for the 4th chapter. I even have, the design in my head for how that's going to be better than Dark Deception 1. But yeah, I'll get to that later. Let's get through chapters 4 and 5. XD Platinum's question 17. Since Barely Buried is the most organic level, does that mean it will have a lot of dead ends? No. Dead ends is one of the things we have a rule against in Dark Deception, is that we want the player... The rule of Dark Deception is you trap yourself. We don't trap you on our end. The game is hard enough. Players will trap themselves with enemies by making bad decisions. We're not going to kill the player in a cheap manner like making them run into a dead end. So if you die because you got trapped, it's mostly your own doing. Question number 18 from Boy Munchlings. In Torment Therapy, will the Reaper nurses have different models, or are they all going to look the same? They're all the same uniform and stuff. So yeah, there's not going to be like different looking Reaper nurses. Question number 19 from DSXW. How insane will Lucky get when it comes time for Mascot Mayhem's escape sequence? Well, I mean, Lucky hates to lose. He's going to do everything he can not to lose. Question 20 from Rye Guy. Recently, there has been an increase in fan-made content for Dark Deception, including models, screenshots, and even playable demos for Chapter 4. What are your thoughts on this? I'm actually all for it. Kind of like Scott, I'm all for the fan community. I love to see when they make stuff. And, I can't protect them legally. When they make crossover games, they get shut down. Like, if you make a Bendy crossover game, I know the Bendy team doesn't like fan games, so they'll probably shut it down. I'm not going to save you from that. But I still like to see it. And I like to see the normal DD stuff, like from Reaper, or from Reaper fan and some of the others, like Fazbear's Deception, some of the mock-up screenshots. Those are all great. I mean, that's all part of a great fandom, is when you see those fan-created content. So as long as them don't cross any lines and, make something hateful or offensive, then I usually will fully support those. Let me see. Question number 21 from Christoph. Are you planning to take a break when you release Chapter 4? A break from Dark Deception work, yeah, but we're just going to roll right into Monsters, Immortals, and Evil Nun, so not too long of a break. Thankfully, those are much easier to work with than Dark Deception. They don't require nearly as much work. Let's see. Carter. Question number 22. Does Mama Bear have names for her babies? Nah, she just calls them babies. They're all her babies, and they'll always be her babies. 23 from Max. What were the most difficult phases in the development of Chapter 4? Programming, modeling, texturing, animation, level design, or more? Nixon has his own feeling on this, but for our side, it's definitely level design and modeling, just because those take the most time. There's a lot of assets in Chapter 4, and since we put our quality bar higher, it takes a lot of time to make so many assets. And then the levels are bigger, so designing out the level and the events and the story and everything, it takes a bit of time. Or a lot of time. as you all know. Dead relaxed. Question number 24. The mother bear has her bears coming out of her belly. Does it somehow affect her weight and speed? Or was this frame just for revealing the voice? I guess he's talking about the marketing shot with all the trigger teddies crawling out of Mama Bear's belly. No, that actually happens in the game as well, and it does not affect her ability to pursue you. Question number 25 from Tyler. What will be the name of the Hangry and Penny Rat? Keep up the good work. Well, thanks. Well, I just revealed the Penny or the Hangry Rat title, which is the Notorious PIG, or you could just say Notorious Pig. Penny's Rap doesn't have a name yet, but we'll have one fairly soon. It's coming on September 30th. Question number 26 from Kelly Kim, and this is the last one. What would be the name of the Hangry and... Oh, sorry, actually, that's a repeat. I guess that's a clone question. Okay, never mind. 25 was the last question. So I guess that last one got duplicated under a different name. So let's jump back over to the Super Chats. All right, let's see what we got here. Just got to find where we left off. Okay, so we're at Blood Violet. Threw in $2. Thank you, Blood Violet. I think Blood Violet's thrown in like 20 contributions today. Any laser traps at all in Chapter 4? Last question. Yeah, we have laser traps. I'm sure you've seen them for the Joy Joy Gang level. So, yeah, there are some laser tripwires that you'll have to deal with. Conspiracy Theory, Fan May, threw in another $1.99. Also, just throwing out the contributions today. Thank you. How long does Penny's flight ability last for? Well, as I've said, Penny's flight ability is not, I think, what people are expecting. She can, give the appearance of flight, but it's for a short duration. It's more like floating. You'll see how she uses it once Chapter 4's out. Lahal threw in another 40 rubles. Thank you, Lahal. You've done a ton of contributions as well. Lucky eats a carrot. No, he's not into eating carrots. Wolfina Draws threw in 2. As of right now, who's your least favorite monster? Least favorite monster. That is actually a good question. I've never even thought about least favorite. I mean, I like all the monsters. Maybe I did get this question before. I like everything a designer wouldn't put it in the game. It wouldn't make it into the game. But if I had to pick one that maybe I don't like as much as the others, I guess I would just go with Clown Gremlins because I don't like clowns, but I enjoyed designing him. But yeah, as far as like just the design of them go, I like them all equally. I probably have ones that I like more, but there's not like one I dislike more than the others. Lahal threw in another 40 rubles. Actually threw in 80. The next 2 questions are in. So he's got 2 questions. Question number 1, who is the smallest boss? Smallest boss would probably be... They're all pretty big. I'd have to do a size chart to actually find out. I don't know. Maybe it's the matron. I would guess the matron. Maybe it's the smallest. And question number 2. Will bosses be added in Chapter 1 and 2? I've answered that one previously in other live streams. That's kind of a wait, and maybe we'll see if we have time for it and if it's something we feel will add to the game. Maybe if we ever do like a director's cut edition or some kind of ultimate edition, we might add those in just to give some cool extra content. But as for right now, it's like a wait and see type thing. Wolfina draws through in another 5. I know the Lucky rap took about 6 months of in and out work. How about Hangry's rap? How long did his rap take? His rap took about, I'd say, a month of work. The rest of it was just waiting on people to be available. Let's see, Nate Koopa Troopa Gamer threw in $1.99. Thank you, Nate. What is Joy Kill's personality? I can't really go into Joy Kill. That's like a you'll see question. Joy Kill is one of the few characters of Chapter 4 I'm not going to talk about. Devin S. Whatever happened to the devlogs? They died and became other things. So the devlogs are what I used to do. I think up until the release of Chapter 3. And then we realized that the devlogs were basically just spoiler trailers for our fan base. So basically everyone would watch them before the chapter came out, and after the chapter came out, like nothing. No views at all. Nobody would watch it. It just completely died. Like, I'm not even kidding, like complete flatline. Not even like 1,000 views in like several months. So, and those things take a lot of time to make. A lot of effort. Like, editing those together would take me like 2 days of time. So it took me away from my work, and it wasn't much of a payoff for it. So we made short trailers and these live streams to answer questions, and the raps, which show some content as well. Those did far better, and people continue to watch them. And also, I mean, that may be because the chapter is not out yet, but I think those are entertaining, and people will continue to watch them even after the chapter goes out, because they're not about spoilers as much as they are about just being entertained. So that's kind of what replaced the devlogs. And devlogs are not something we're going to go back to. Maybe later on I'll do some kind of post-mortem video where I talk about the making of Dark Deception, because it won't, at least with that I know people that watch it are genuinely interested in learning about the making of Dark Deception. It's not about trying to see a character early or spoil something about one of the levels. Yeah, I don't want to make videos for people that just want spoilers. That's what the trailers are for. Okay, UBF13 threw in 5. Smackin' Pie said you did him dirty with the hashtag Smackin' Pie loves hangry. What do you have to say about this? Also, I'm excited for Torment Therapy. I was just kind of responding to the will of the people. A lot of people told me that Smackin' Pie loved angry, so I put a hashtag in there for it. I wanted to do him right, but apparently I did him dirty, so we'll see. See how he takes that. You know, deep down he loves hangry. I don't think there's any hatred there. Well, we've got another one, but it seems like YouTube's being a little buggy. It's kind of clipping the question and not letting me scroll down to see it. So I hope I can read this. Maybe not. So I may have to just end it here with apologies to whoever that last question is. If they want their question answered, they can email it to me. Or, yeah, just take a screenshot of your donation and email it to me, and I'll be glad to answer your question. Unfortunately, YouTube's kind of cut your question off in half, and I can't read it. So that's it, guys. And that's actually great, because we're at 2 hours. Even with the delay, it's almost 2 hours. This was an amazing live stream. Thank you again for all tuning in, even with Gamescom going on. I wasn't aware that Gamescom was starting at the same time when I scheduled this. I would have pushed off a few more days. But, you know, it's all good. It's great to talk about this and answer questions. I know it's been a long wait. So we've got a lot of excited things coming. There's going to be a lot of big announcements, maybe even before 2020 is over with. Chapter 4 is going to go out in 2020. None of you guys have to worry about that. Monsters Immortals is going to go out in 2020. I've already announced the date for that. So I think 2020 is still going to be a good year for Dark Deception. There's a lot of stuff I'm not allowed to announce yet. I think pretty soon, You may even get to find out more about the Evil Nun project, which I think is pretty amazing so far. So yeah, a lot of exciting things coming, and hopefully, if not all of it's talked about in 2020, then definitely early 2021. So that's it. Thank you all. I appreciate everyone who's made contributions and everyone who's sending questions. If your question wasn't answered this time, just keep sending it in. Eventually, you're going to get picked. It's just the law of averages. We love you all. Thank you for supporting us.